My name is Miki Noguchi. This is my co-presenter, Karina Sanchez. We also have the rest of our team, Alyssa Messick, Yoon Huang, and Carly Bennett. We're here to talk about Fintrac's Caves project with USAID, with the aim of reducing maize dependency in Kenya in targeted regions. So for the country context, Kenya has about 43 million people, of which 77% are rural, 70% are engaged in agriculture. The GDP, 27% comes from agriculture. The World Bank says that the strategy that Kenya must focus on will be to increase smallholder farmer productivity. For the development ecosystem, Kenya has Kenya Vision 2030, which is Kenya's plan to make the country globally competitive, industrialized, and a middle-income country by 2030. In order to do that, because of the importance of the agriculture sector in their economy, they must professionalize and make agriculture a more lucrative sector. To support this, the Ministry of Agriculture has two strategic plans. One is the strategy for revitalizing agriculture, as well as their strategic plan for 2008 to 2012. All of these have an aim to achieve higher levels of food sufficiency among the participating households, including the Caves project. So in terms of Caves, where we're focusing, so it's a food security project that aims to increase productivity and incomes among the targeted farmers. They're going to do this with the adoption of innovative technologies, improving nutrition at the rural household level, as well as increasing the capacity of key stakeholders through improved practices, and this is where we focused a lot of our attention. Although the USAID Caves project does address wash and nutrition, based on our conversation with Steve and where it seemed their greatest need was, based on his own articulations as well, we focused on bringing market approaches to subcontractors. Our key objective is to increase, as we mentioned, the commercialization of smallholder agriculture by increasing competitiveness, improving nutritional outcomes, and mainly by enhancing the capacity of local organizations to undertake value chain work beyond project's lifetime. So we'll be focusing in three pilot sites, two in the high rain area and one in the semi-arid. We chose these sites because of the high unemployment rates, the low literacy rates among men and women, and as well as the indicators for underweight children. The coastal region had the worst indicators. The Rift and the the Rift and the coastal region have about the same, and the Western is slightly better. So our focal problem for this case challenge was to look at Kenya's maize dependency. This is due to many factors. Kenya used to be an exporter of maize, and now it is a net importer of maize. So most of the farmers in Fintrac's target area are working at the subsistence level. 76% of the farmers in Fintrac's region are engaged in maize production. The major maize deficit is due to many factors, including weather conditions, input prices and profitability, vulnerability to market shocks, as well as low level of youth engagement in agriculture in general. So Fintrac has a combination of options. One is to focus on maize production in the high rainfall areas and deliver packages to increase productivity. Two is to emphasize other staple food crops, including potatoes, cassava, and sorghum. And then three is promote cash crops in the high rainfall areas. So our key stakeholders, critical stakeholders include Fintrac as the main coordinator and implementer, USAID, which has the RFP and their own objectives within the RFP, the government of Kenya, because we'll be working with them at the ministerial as well as the county level, the subcontractors, which are going to be our direct implementers and the primary point of contact for the farmers, the community agribusiness trainers, the targeted farmers, and ultimately the next generation of farmers. So that includes the youth in the target areas, as well as the collaborating university students that you'll see in the when we go through our strategy.
So our strategy is based on knowing that Fintrac is really good on production. Like you already have all the knowledge regarding agriculture, but they don't have the knowledge regarding markets. So the aim of our strategy is to empower subcontractors, the 6 subcontractors that Fintrac is already working with. We're thinking as a 3-tier level, like Fintrac, the subcontractors, and then the farmers, and we want to empower the subcontractors to be able to connect with farmers and help them connect with markets. By strengthening the subcontractors' skills, we will create a multiplier effect that will help us not only reach our target population of 500,000 farmers, but just like multiply it and be able to reach more people. So this is our general strategy. As you can see, we have an umbrella approach of 3 strategic pillars that will work in every activity that we do under this program. And then we have 3 different paths that we can follow according to the county's context and the farmer's context. Our market approach, it's first focusing not only on the farmers but on the subcontractors, just for business development. And then next one. As I told you, we have an umbrella approach, and the first strategic pillar of that umbrella approach is we benchmark it from Think Impact, and is using youth, which is one of the objectives of Fintrac, and university students. And this is a business development program where we would like to partner with 4 universities in Kenya. The 4 universities are public, and what we would like to do is first to get the students close to the communities and know the reality of rural areas, and then generate innovation, partner with our subcontractors and our farmers to create business ideas, and then get results. They're going to be innovating together with the subcontractors and the farmers to, at the end, professionalize agriculture and increase market activity. For this strategic pillar, we would like to work first in our pilot in 4 different areas, and we chose these areas according to where Fintrac already has sub-regional offices. So our pilot locations, we have 2 in the semi-arid area, and then 3 high-full. Our second strategic pillar is something that we call community agribusiness trainers, CATs. We know, and it's proven how important has been the work of community health workers trainers in community health workers, and we would like to take this approach also to agriculture in order to link farmers to markets, to increase competitiveness of farmers and work locally. For this, we would like to have, next one, we would like to have 1 community worker, agribusiness worker per subcontractor. These community workers will be trained by Fintrac and will be trained by a Fintrac regional community agribusiness manager that will be included in the permanent staff. And the trainer will train the subcontractors, and then the subcontractors will transmit this knowledge to the farmers. We have a pilot with 4 subcontractors, the 6 subcontractors. Our third pillar approach, it's ICT for development. These we would like to use it in 2 different ways. The first one is for information system, in order to work to build a platform where market information can be exchanged, where farmers could have access to information regarding technologies and also fair prices. For this, we would like to partner with already existing platforms with Vodafone, Safaricom, and we also like to use this IT approach for climate change resilience. And for this, we would like to partner with the Climate Corporation. And they are already working in the U.S., but Kenya will be the first development country where Climate Corporation will work, and it will work not only to let farmers know or alert them when climate risks come, but also to collect and compile data in order to create like the first platform for Kenya. Yeah. So we have 3 different paths. We're aware of the differences of the target population, and it will be naive to think that one universal approach will work for everyone. So we have 3 different paths. One will be land renting, the second one will be cooperatives, and the third one will be working with individual farmers. The first path, well, yeah, as I mentioned, we need to customize our approaches. The first one is land renting, and what we would like to do is literally, since the average size of the land is really small, just to get land from different farmers be rented, and then hire these same farmers as laborers. This will increase income, but also will help professionalize agriculture, because what we have in mind, the renters that we have in mind, are already experienced in agribusiness. For this, we have to be careful in terms of land property rights, and we're thinking about having a permanent staff lawyer at Fintrac that will have expertise in property rights. Our second approach is cooperatives. This is a widely known approach. The government of Kenya is already working in this, and it's having organized farmers groups to help them build capacity, but also to let them have access to bulk prices for inputs, and also to be able to, as a group, approach retailers and have a better price. And the third part is individual farmers. There will be places where the group approach would not work just because in that area farmers are not organized already. And for this, we're suggesting an individual approach with new cash crops that you can check in our annexes to increase income. So our milestones for these, you can check the specific activities, but the important thing for us is that the milestones for working with youth will be that by the end of our first 6 months, we'll have already signed contracts with the 4 universities we want to work with. For our CATS approach, by the end of our 6 months, we would like to have already the 6 community workers for the 6 subcontractors already trained and working. And for our ICT for development, in the first year, we would like to have our platform built.
Slow down. Where are we? Okay.
Yeah, and for our risk management, we know that the paths we're proposing present a risk, because managing 3 different paths or 3 different programs will be difficult for an organization. However, we think that we can mitigate this risk by enhancing communication with our main stakeholders, and especially with the government. The government will be a really important actor for our cooperatives approach and for our ICT approach. And we will, one of the things we know that will be risky in terms of land is just ensuring that farmers keep the property of their land, and that is not a risk. And for that, we are trying to ensure specific contracts for that.
Okay, so as far as management, we proposed 2 new teams, which is basically the business development team and the ICT for D team. The business development team will be the main coordinating body that our proposed strategy will be directed out of. This will include hiring a new Nairobi-based technical director for business development, and then 3 regional business development managers. The technical director for business development at the headquarters, Fintrac's headquarters, will be tasked primarily with creating and enhancing the market approach strategy for Fintrac in the Caves project. The director will supervise the national coordination with youth and the CATS, design, implement, and coordinate the CATS program, establish ministry relationships as well as lead advocacy efforts, and then finally negotiate the partnership agreement with the 4 universities for the youth program. The regional managers will administer the path options at the pilot sites. They'll supervise the teams in the county. And then they'll